Does the future of work include robots? This week, we're exploring the future of work and how it's being shaped by generational shifts in values and expectations. From the grit and determination of baby boomers to the flexibility-first mindset of Gen Z, the workplace has transformed dramatically over the years. We'll dive into what each generation brings to the table and how young entrepreneurs in particular can navigate the evolving landscape. Let's dive in. You're smart, you're motivated, you want to do something big. You're on the verge of being a young boss, and we're going to help you get there. I'm your host, Isabelle Bino, and welcome to the Young Boss Podcast, where youth is your power. Before we jump into what the younger generations are looking for out of work and their career, we should reflect on where the job market used to be, what the cultural norms and expectations used to be. Boomers are the suck it up and grind it out generation. They were born post-World War II and into a booming economy that was created by the government to employ all the veterans who had known nothing but war. Hence the expansion of government jobs in transportation, parks, law enforcement, and agriculture. Boomers are most likely to say to a younger person, "You're lucky to have a job. Now suck it up and get to work." They were okay with average bosses and pizza parties to celebrate milestones, so long as they got their paycheck. They were also okay with working harder or more hours for the pure satisfaction of accomplishing something or putting in work. They chose not to complain, and they chose to just get the work done. Gen X started to look at things differently. They're 60s and early 70s babies, and things were changing. Alternative culture was becoming more mainstream, climate awareness was becoming a thing, wars were being protested, and while that doesn't define the generation, they did start to scrutinize things more and ask more questions. More women and people of color began to join the workforce, and they were able to change some things. They still worked hard and showed up on time and respected their managers, but they had the courage to ask questions along the way, to shake things up within reason. Millennials, well, we're a different breed. Growing up during the turning point of technology fostered a variety of perspectives and diverse opinions. We've had information at our fingertips ever since we could learn how to use a computer. We've been able to inform ourselves and formulate opinions and stances on issues all around the world faster than any other generation that preceded us. And we took that inquisitiveness into the workplace. We question everything. Not always because we think we know better, but because we want to understand the why behind why things are done. And if we think that they can be done better, we aren't afraid to speak up. Generally, we still show up on time and respect our managers, but we also expect more out of them. We expect corporate social responsibility and fair wages. We aren't afraid to work hard for a promotion, but we will leave a company if we feel we aren't being respected or seen. And now, millennials are the ones driving the economy. They're the ones starting businesses and employing people older and younger than us. It's important to understand the dynamics of every generation and how they work, and it's crucial to the success of our businesses now today. Now, I have to say, I do love Gen Zers. I feel like Kamala when I say that, but they are very much themselves. What you see is what you get with them. But they're very different than the previous three generations we just discussed. They prioritize work-life balance to the nth degree. And if it doesn't exist, they're on to the next. They want to be seen and heard every second of the day, so you got to do your best to keep your eyes and ears open because they have opinions, which I appreciate. On the flip side, statistically speaking, Gen Zers have the least optimistic view of all the generations, which is attributed to being born into a world of climate change, a hyper-political landscape, religious and racial wars, and all of this going on. That being said, they're more likely to suffer from mental illness than any of the generations before. There's a reason they prioritize their mental health and work-life balance. They feel that their opportunities for success are slimmer than those before them, and that's a lot weighing on their minds. And I would assume that because of this, Gen Zers are more likely to bounce from job to job. They don't believe in the growth from within model that previous generations respected and trudged through. If your business isn't all in on them, then they're all out on you and on to the next. In our society, it used to be admirable and a goal of many to climb the ladder in a company, to work somewhere for 20 or 30 years or until you retire. But over the years, that path became a little muddier than it once was for the boomers. Raises become less, promotions more scarce, and favorites started being played out over flat out talent and ability. Gen Z doesn't have time for that. And if they feel like they're deserving and you're not serving promotions or raises, they'll find someone else who will meet their needs until they don't, right? Millennials and Gen Z are not just looking for flexibility, but for work that aligns with their values. Millennials and Gen Zs, they're not just looking for flexibility, but for work that aligns with their values. And when you are building your business, you need to be thinking about who you're hiring. There may be, a specific avatar for your customer, but what about a specific avatar for your employees? If it is going to be those in the younger generations, then you need to make sure that your company core values and what you offer can stand the test of time for them and accommodate what they're looking for. As the workforce becomes younger, we as entrepreneurs, we have to adapt our businesses to accommodate the expectations of the workforce. At the end of the day, your business relies on the talents and abilities and attitudes of your team members. So how do you adapt? First, you must understand the nature of your work. How do you make money and how does work get done? Those two questions will guide your decision making as you strategically plan to navigate this new landscape. Second, you've got to understand the workforce of the future. People are and will remain your biggest asset. So you need a clear understanding of the workers you have right now and the workers you're going to need. Stay on top of this because you'll want to be able and ready to take action before the talent gap becomes a competitive liability. Lastly, you must understand the workplace of the future. Your workplace is not just confined to four walls or a physical space. Your workplace consists of organizational norms, your culture. How do you speak to people on calls? Do you celebrate personal and professional wins? Are you understanding of people's lives outside of work? Are you flexible? Are you a human being? Me personally, knowing that I'm working with people of all generations, I really do try to make an effort to accommodate and meet them all where they're at. But I gotta say, once boomers see how Gen Z is doing things and their coworkers all in the same, a lot of times they say, ooh, I wanna be treated like that. So many times as you're dealing with everyone, you've gotta have an all-encompassing view, but what is that level of the best treatment that you plan to give? No matter the age, the race, the sex, it doesn't matter, and treat everyone according to that top tier level that you're gonna be offering. So if you extend grace to someone who's in Gen Z, you got to extend the same grace to someone who's a boomer. You can't say, well, you're the suck it up type. You can figure it out. No. Mental health days go around for everyone. Due to the COVID pandemic, societal and technological norms were broken, showing that work can be done outside of the office. Not only will some people be more productive, but the market has the tools and technology to make it happen. Do you remember back in 2022 when Elon Musk scrapped Twitter, now X's work from home policy? How'd that turn out for him? The company has lost over half of its value since he took it over, and I'd find it hard to believe that losing talent due to his draconian policies had nothing to do with it. On the flip side, brands like Patagonia have embraced work from home policies, understanding that employees are actually more productive and happier when they have flexibility of their schedule and a little bit more control of their day. Remote work, hybrid work, and flexible work hours have become a widely adopted expectation of the workforce. But how do you successfully manage a team in this manner?
Hey everyone, I want to share something that has truly changed my charging game. It's the 360 electrical. When I got this cord, oh my goodness, you guys, I'm always in need of a quick charge, whether I'm on the go in the car or at the airport. I want to be able to plug it in and 15 minutes later be on full battery, and that's exactly what this has done for me. It delivers 240 watts of ultra fast charging, so you're back to full battery in no time. It is perfect for those last minute travel emergencies. It's got a super long cord and it doesn't fray. It keeps everything nice and tidy, super easy to travel with, take with you on the road. So if you want to grab yours today, head to 360electrical.com and use promo code YoungBoss for 20% off your order. Now, back to the show.
I'm not a big fan of the I need to see your mouse moving. Obviously, there's now technology that can move the mouse for you. I'm a big fan of, is the work done? Are timelines being met? I tell my team every day, I don't care if you're in Timbuktu, I don't care if you work at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., just get the work done. If there's a deadline, do it, and that's all that you need to worry about from me. To me, micromanaging and saying, when are they doing this and what's going on? That's really not the most beneficial thing I can be doing as a leader for them. The best thing I can be doing is saying, oh, you want to go work out with your trainer at noon? Go ahead. If that's what makes you function better and be able to trek harder through the day because you work a little before and you work a little after, great. You need to pick up your kid at 3 o'clock? Awesome. Go ahead. I don't really care where they are or what they're doing as long as the tasks are being done. Every leader has to kind of figure out what works for them because obviously if your business is very time sensitive, you may have a different offering that you're able to have within your company, but you need to be mindful of this change that people are really wanting to see, that huge work-life balance emphasis. I've always been a supporter of efficiency. If I have a team member who can get their work done in 4 hours, then why stay for 8? Not everyone sees it that way, but I have no problem with my team enjoying their life outside of work. Efficiency is literally one of our core values, so for me, it's huge. And when I'm hiring someone, I love to see how efficient they can be, which I describe as being fast and focused. If you can get the work done, boom, and get it done, that's all I care. Quality over being there forever, right? That's what is the most important for me. When I am having those hiring conversations and people are asking, hey, is this full-time, part-time? What type of hours or expectations do you have of me? I always make it abundantly clear up front, all of those things that we just talked about. And I think it's actually increased our employee retention because many times when someone has left the company, everyone else who stays, what is their feedback? They always say the same thing. They'll never be able to find a job with this same flexibility. Whatever they're saying is the plus of working here, I can say it's all these different things. It doesn't matter what I say, it's what they say. So when my employees all tell me they won't be able to get this, they'll never be able to get paid as much, now I know what is the pros of what I'm bringing to the table, what is bringing retention and happiness. So for me, I double down on that, paying everybody a great salary where I know they can live a comfortable life, as well as that flexibility and that freedom. And I think that those things really help people stay happy. In that same hiring process, I've often found that people who are younger are more attracted to the jobs within my company because I'm offering those different things that they are looking for. Someone who is older maybe does want more strict boundaries and timelines, deadlines, things of that nature, or they need somebody looking over their shoulder saying, did that get done? And I'm not that kind of boss. So me providing these different things actually attracts a certain generation. And I'm okay with that because if they're going to do what I want and I'm going to be able to manage them in the way that they need and want, it's really a win-win for everyone. Remember, not all work can be done remotely, and there are always potential risks of building a business that's completely remote. You risk disconnectivity between team members, a lack of social connections, and opportunities to bond in real life. And the scariest one, a lack of collaboration and ideation. Business is all about balance, and it takes time to figure out, but you have to work at it. You have to think about it. What are you doing inside and outside of work to foster connections and strong relationships within your business? I also believe in building a culture that my team loves, meaning my team, we hang out outside of work, not as a requirement, but because they love each other. They all call each other to see what the other one's doing on the weekends. They grill together, have game nights at one another's houses, spend the holidays together, and even go to dinner to celebrate each other's wins. It's amazing to have been able to create a culture to bring people together who truly get along. It makes me happy to see their interactions and their relationships blossom. It also makes me feel incredibly satisfied to see all the great work that is being done because of these relationships, because of the respect and love that they all have for one another. But with this close culture, it creates a level of closeness that you as the boss will no longer have control over. They will discuss pay. They will discuss the one-on-one you had with them, or what their director said to them, or whatever the case is. Because of this, it will cause you to stay on your toes. So be warned, you cannot show favoritism or give one person a raise when 10 other people are doing the exact same job. You have to be fair across the board because they will discuss. And as a young boss, it's illegal for you to tell them that they can't converse with one another on that level. Culture is like the water in a fish tank. And if it's poisoned, all the fish will die. So you need to make sure that this water is being kept healthy, is giving the fish what they need to survive. It's really being cleaned out and run properly because everything touches them some way, somehow. So fairness matters. Your conversations matter. The closer they are, the more that everything is up on the table for discussion. So pros and cons, but think of culture as that water in the fish tank. To me, that just changed the way that I interact with them. And when I feel that poisoning's coming, it's like, time to drain the tank and restart. We've got to address this now. On the flip side, automation and AI, they're reshaping the job landscape as we know it. And while this can increase productivity and reduce costs, it also presents the challenge of upskilling workers to adapt to a more tech-driven world. And reskilling and upskilling is an important part of your retention plan, especially as the younger generations are becoming more impatient with raises and promotions, and they look to job hop their way throughout their careers. The velocity of these markets these days is incredible. We're seeing remarkable innovations in technologies in every industry. But that means that in order to remain successful in business, you need to reinvest in the employees. It's a win-win. The employees want to become highly skilled so that they can earn more and advance their careers, and you need employees who are highly skilled to continue to compete in your market and your industry. So don't forget about that. Too many businesses don't have programs or initiatives for employees to grow, and that is generally a big reason why employees leave for another company. If you're not growing, you got to get out. In an ever-changing landscape and market, you need to remain flexible and understanding as well as innovative. If you own a business or you're looking to start a business and hiring people for this, you need to be really prepared. Like I said in the beginning, that avatar of who you're looking to hire, hone in on that. Who are they? What do they like? What skills do they have? What education and background? I know that that's a job description, but it's more than that. It's not just on paper who they are, it's who they are in here. What values do they have? Is this someone who's going to work long hours overnight and put in everything that they need to so that your business can succeed? For me, I found that culturally, I continue to hire people who act like my business is their business. Intrapreneurs, as it's been called before, where they feel such ownership of their departments and their jobs, and they feel so empowered to tell me their advice and their opinions. And I like that. I like to hear from them. Now, in another company, that would not fly. The director's telling the boss or the owner, this is how I think things should be done. This is the feedback. Some other boss would be like, shut it down. And they would be definitely reprimanded for speaking up in that way. For me, I knew exactly what I wanted and what I need from these people, so I've now hired the strategic people there. Generationally, this is going to change and it's going to look and feel different. And for you as a young boss, even think of that example. If you have someone who's 5 years younger than you saying, hey, this is what I think would work in our department, or someone who's 15 years older than you saying that same thing, you may interpret it as a threat from that older person, that they're trying to tell you they know better. It's not always that way. If you can't handle that feedback, then don't build a culture of that. The more that you curate in your mind what you want it to be, the better it will become. Because regardless, the fish in the tank, they're living in water one way or another. And if you haven't strategically created the culture is going to be made without you knowing. Culture isn't core values or words on a paper. Culture is what happens when you're not there to make a decision and they have to make it on your behalf. Did they make the decision that you would have made? Are you proud of the choice that they did? Are you proud of the language they used in that email for a refund or whatever the case is? When I see that my team does a job well done without me being there and they get to tell me about it after, that's when I know that our culture is healthy, because they are following what the business stands for, what I stand for, and that's so important. It's clear that the workplace of the future is dynamic, it's flexible and purpose-driven. Each generation, whether it's boomers, Gen X, millennials, or Gen Z, they've contributed to the evolving work culture. But Gen Z, they are pushing the boundaries like never before. For young entrepreneurs, understanding these shifts, it isn't just important, it's essential for success. Flexibility, fairness, and fostering a connected, transparent culture will not only help you retain top talent, but it will also ensure long-term success. So what steps are you taking to build the future of your business today? Thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss with your host, Isabelle Bino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube for weekly episodes. And remember, youth is your power.